with Freyna, it's possible to counter it with contents. However, with Innis, we haven't really found a long-term balancing solution yet. So it was a difficult decision, but we decided to nerf her to Freyna's level.
And there you see the moment where the developers for the first time decided to nerf Inez Rhea. Now what are the lasting effects of this? I'll show you right now. Crazy levels of review bombing on Steam and every other site, people absolutely crying, screaming, saying they've ruined Inez, I'm quitting the game, demanding their money back, so on and so forth, right? But Inez was just the beginning, in my personal opinion, and Serena is the beginning of the end. So let's talk about Serena Antonietta and why she is the biggest problem in this game, not even just for right now, for probably the next few years or so. So let's get on into it. Now, a few years probably seems like a little bit of a stretch, right? But with the developers responding to the Discord AMA and basically confirming their plans for Serena, this is probably not a stretch. So the TLDR of this is essentially that they are not nerfing Serena. They refuse to nerf Serena, and instead what they are doing is essentially capping her power level to what it is now. So Serena, in theory, should not be getting any stronger than what she is capable of currently doing. Now this in theory sounds like a great idea, you know, cap Serena at what she's at, never let her get any stronger, which is just wrong, because even through the addition of new systems such as the mutant cell or the external core components, this is gonna buff Serena again. So not only is Serena broken, she's gonna get buffed by the new systems coming into the game. Now you could counter this by saying, you know, let's throw in some mechanics and add a cap to the amount of damage you can hit in a singular hit, which is not a bad idea. However, based off the season 1 invasions, I don't think this is a good idea. At that time we had players that were literally not capable of matching a number and a symbol together. We had players that could not match number 1, 2, 3, 4 with a symbol that is a Y, a circle, a trophy, or an X. This is like, we're getting into some serious territory now, because that is like, please get an IQ check. But jokes aside, what does this even actually mean? Now the developers have made it very clear they've had issues with this stuff in this game for a very long time. Whether that be the issue with ghost bullets, which for some reason they countered by giving us more fire rate, which I don't understand, or whether it be with content balance. Now for the longest time the developers couldn't really create content for the game because Inés as a mobbing descendant was too powerful for them and would just rip through absolutely everything, making it so that nobody would use anyone other than Inés. And Serena has the exact same problem, except even further. When it comes to running any sort of content that might even be considered remotely close to being a challenge, you can just do it with Serena, and there is no challenge no more. An example of this would be my homeboy here, Scent Evades, absolutely a goated player, but this man didn't even change his Serena's element on the last dagger before running the per challenge and absolutely ripping it apart like it is nothing. This is just an example of a million of the things that you can do with Serena, but even with this, you can see that there is no such thing as challenging content. Serena has the capability to absolutely literally curb stomp everything in this game. Now, like I mentioned before, you can also one-shot the final boss in Purge 30, that being Greg. Now, Greg has 350 million HP, so with that, you can already shoot over 350 million HP with one bullet with Serena. Now, if we were to create a boss that needed 5 shots from Serena, that boss would need almost 2 billion HP. And realistically, you're not going to get anywhere remotely close to that number in terms of damage, whether it be with Bunny, Inés, Freyna, or any other Descendant. It's only Serena. She's so far ahead that literally no other Descendant can catch up even remotely close. You can give any other Descendant an ATAMs or absolutely anything else, and they're still not even going to get close to Serena. Now, what does this mean again? Like I said, it just goes to show you how far ahead she truly is. So then, does Serena have any weaknesses? Mobbing, you may ask, but even with mobbing she can use the Divine Surge build and then there's no issues. Or alternatively, she can fly with a Malevolent or even with a Relic with the dog that restores ammo, and she's good to go essentially. Serena can absolutely mob as well as boss, which is kind of really sad. When you think about the older Descendants that came out, for example Haley had absolutely no niche in mobbing, and she was horrible and still is horrible at mobbing compared to what other Descendants can do. However, Haley's one niche that she was absolutely excelling in was bossing. And even now, you might as well fucking delete Haley from the game because she's been power crept by a fucking sniper called the fucking ATAMs. Haley and the ATAMs aside though, the real truth here is that you cannot balance a game like this. There is just way too much inconsistency, and having one character like 50 times stronger than the other ones is essentially just not going to work. Now, even with this, you would think that the logical solution would be to just nerf Serena, right? But the truth is the developers are also absolutely terrified of doing that. After the backlash from the Inés nerfs and the way that they have been apologizing for nerfing Inés, it is really something that is just truly sad to see, and I don't think any developer should have to go through anything like that. The fact that the community is so fucking pathetic that they really care about one character like that to this much of an extent, to the point where they will boycott the game because they changed the balance on a character that was absolutely fucking busted, is just something that is really fucking sad. Now, if they were to actually nerf Serena, this would essentially be a repeat. But the issue is that they did not need Serena to be in this state again. They should have just nerfed Serena from the start, because it did not take the community very long to figure out what the hell is going on with Serena. If you even looked at YouTube back then, as soon as the update came out, you would see that some streamers and some other creators were basically one-shotting, if not had one-shotting every boss build videos out for Serena within literally 24 hours or within 48 hours. Within 2 days, the creators and the people who be playing this game on a reel like that had figured out what the hell Serena is about, and it was something that was just insane to see. Now, a solution of this would be creating an actual test server for people, and they can sign up to the test server, or giving the creators access to a server and allowing us to play test it for you as well. I promise I would rather spend 20 hours a fucking week or 20 hours a day inside of a test server and iron out all these issues to make sure another character like Serena does not get nerfed, does not get released again, versus let them release another Serena and go through this cycle again. Serena's absolutely detrimental for the balance of this game, and her sheer existence at this point is one of, if not the biggest issues, and she really does either need to get her wings clipped and fucking curb stomped, smashed and nerfed into the fucking ground, or they really need to limit her so hard and actually just fucking delete her. The option 1 is delete Serena, option 2 is nerf her to fuck, and at this current point in time, I don't know what on earth they're going to do. They're focusing on Season 3's release, which is something that I'm very excited for, but I cannot tell you or begin to tell you how disappointed I'm going to be if every single piece of content in this new update gets one-shotted by Serena. That might be it for me. I'm actually most likely going to be fucking done at that point, because it's not even a single thing at this point. It's so many fucking things that are just like absolutely bullshit that the developers just refuse to fix, and instead of listening to the players who care about this game and actually want it to grow with actually interesting suggestions, they will just forever keep catering to the gooners. Now, I know I'm crashing out, but I've also had a look and I kind of might have an idea as to why they might be doing this. If we have a look at the Steam charts, you can see that there's about 6,000 people playing currently at this moment in time, which is still a lot of players, but 6,000 people consistently up and down is still a lot of people. Now, majority of these people are probably gooners, if not, they are casuals. And by casuals, I mean people that aren't really up to date with absolutely everything yet, which is completely fair, you know, we all play at our own pace. But the thing is, right, majority of the people that I know, at least, have said to me that they've quit this game to go on to other games, and by that, specifically Path of Exile 2. And after trying to find something on the internet, or just try finding anything about the amount of people playing this game in Asian countries, like Korea, so on and so forth, I couldn't really find much of anything. And I did kind of get a few hints and asked a few people who have Korean names in the game whether there's a big player base in Korea, and they said not really, because most people are actually on Path of Exile 2, which is a more intense game. And they said that something along the lines, because I was translating, that they prefer that because there's more grind. The grind in this game is a joke, and that's something I absolutely agree with. They've basically deleted the entire grind from this game, which is kind of piss taking, because, you know, I'd want to play a grind game for the grind, and now there's no grind. But essentially, I think that the game is struggling to hit a market inside of the Korean community or Asian countries, and because of that, now they are just listening to whichever has the most people screaming it. Now, I wish the Gooners would just, you know, realize Jiggle is not fucking content and, you know, actually ask for content, but that's not going to happen anytime soon, so we're in an impending loop of absolute bullshit. But yeah, that's basically been this video, and I think that is what's going on with the first Descendant right now. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please do let me know your comments and your opinions in the comment section below. I'd love to hear them. And yeah, that's basically been this video. Smash that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!